Another Tuesday night here in Philadelphia. And guess what, folks? The Sixers have themselves a series. Guess who's not happy about it? Me. I'm Bobby Cash. I'll be joined briefly and shortly by my co-host, Chris Amos, who is umpiring a baseball game tonight. He umpires full time now out in Lancaster, PA, and he does a great job. So, as we predicted here on our show, the Sixers would struggle in this series. We didn't predict they would get out to a 3-0 lead. But who, if you had to pick a coach out there, would you not want to have a 3-game lead in a series? Yes, folks. It's Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has lost 31 games in his NBA career with a chance to close out the series. And that, my friends, is a NBA record. 31 games. He has lost 7 of his last 8 games with a chance to close out the series. Arthur, thanks for joining me. Tara, thanks for joining me. The Sixers won the first two games by shooting the lights out. They won the third game by a miracle shot from Joel Embiid. But then the thumb injury took place. They lost game 4, which was they pretty much sleptwalked through. And I'm joined now by my co-host. Here he is, as always. Chris Amos.
Bobby, what's going on tonight?
What's up? What's up?
Oh,
how's it going?
I thought for sure we'd be talking about who the Sixers are going to play in the next round, but it looks like we're looking at a situation where the Sixers might do something never done before.
Yeah, and that's I just started off the show, and that's what I was just getting to. I was in my we're in the Doc Rivers bashing is where I'm at right now. You know, if anybody you don't want to have a 3-0 lead, it's him. And he's lost 31 games with the chance to close out a series, and he's lost 7 out of his last 8. So that's where I'm at. They won the first 3 games. The first 2 games they weren't going to be beat. They shot the lights out. Game 3, they hit the game winner, the Embiid miracle, and after that, the injury took place. He is hurt. He's always hurt. He's always going to be hurt. James Harden is a shell of his former self. And they just don't have it. They don't have the scoring. I see no way they win another game this year. And I'm sure you agree.
I do. And the question I have, and I guess this would be a question I would have for everybody who's a Sixers fan, does it matter if they lose these next 2 games? Because this team has no shot at winning a championship.
Absolutely not. 0. No, it does not matter. And I actually, if it changes the coach, I'd rather them lose these 2 games.
But do you have faith in Warren to put the right coach in place? I mean, it's one of those things to where I'm starting to just question everything from the top down.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, outside of who? There's not a big long list of great coaches that are going to be out there after the season. You're right about that.
You can find a Van Gundy out there and bring him in. You can't do that. Is it going to be a D'Antoni?
No, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Is D'Antoni? Who wants him? We don't need a guy that's just going to go out there and try to score 140 points because that's not going to work in the playoffs. We know that. He's been down that road. And then it brings to mind a guy who I did an interview today, and he didn't close the door. Jay Wright.
Wow. it's a thing too where that's going from one world into another. I know it's still basketball, but there's not a lot of guys who made that transition well.
No, there's not. There's really not. I mean, the only one that Brad Stevens is really the other one that comes to mind.
You're right.
Yeah, there's not many. Arthur's joining us in the chat. He says, "What's crazy is I think Embiid is going to be MVP." No, we don't think that. He's not going to win it. It's already basically been given to Jokic. He's going to be the MVP. Embiid has been hurt, I believe, every single playoff run we've had, except for maybe last year.
He had a meniscus last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's just always. But he played all the way through. It's always something. He falls down 20 to 30 times a game. That's most likely how he hurt his thumb. He by catching his 280-pound body every time he falls, he probably hurt the thumb, or he hurt it on one of those dunks where he dunked too hard. Yeah, I wanted to get back to last night. What's up, Gina? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, really, Jokic is going to be the MVP. He was like minus 300 towards the end of the season. He's going to win it.
Bobby, let me ask you a question quick.
Yeah.
You watched games 1 and 2, and then the dagger in game 3. If ever there would have been a team who was just ready to pack it in and go home after 4, how did the Sixers let this happen? I know we've gone over all this, but just to me, this is almost unbelievable. And I know game 4 up there was a lot of questions how the refs were calling that game.
Right.
But then you roll into your own building after that. I understand it beats hurt. You got one of the top 75 players of all time. I don't care how old he is or what's going on. You have him, and you have a match player, Tobias Harris. You have a rising young star. And I'm watching the game, and I'm seeing Matisse Thybulle open for shots, of course. He shouldn't even be on the floor, in my opinion, but they had to put him out there last night.
Well, that's where I'm headed. It's, we look at, people say Embiid's hurt. That's more than just a sentence. That's the whole offense. If he can't take a shot outside the paint. Okay, I was at the game last night. I watched him warm up. He didn't take any shots from beyond 10 feet. Everything was inside the paint. His foul shots, he grimaced. I said I'm not outside 10 feet. I mean jumpers. His foul shots, he grimaced every time he took the shot. He can't catch the ball. He dropped 2 or 3 passes that were right in his hands. They went out of bounds. So when you have Matisse Thybulle on the court, you're not only one man down on offense, you're 2 now with Embiid. That leaves 3 other guys. Toronto's swarming to the ball. The Sixers are moving the ball. By the time they go to shoot, they're covered. There's no room. They're playing 5'6'8" athletic guys, and Fred VanVleet getting hurt actually helps Toronto.
That's exactly what my thought. The moment he got hurt, I figured that somebody would step up. Him being out was going to maybe energize them a little bit. Plus, what you said was guys coming in there. The defense that they're playing, it is shutting down the Sixers. I mean, look at the points that they scored in the last 2 games. I mean, that's anemic.
Because they don't look. Your whole Embiid's limited to about 20 right now. He's not going to score more than 18, 20 points. You have Harden, who took 11 shots in 40 minutes last night for 15 points. Where are you getting another 70 points at? It's not there. It's not there. You only have Harris, Green, Milton. Thybulle doesn't score. Reed was horrible. Niang, he only played 13 minutes and took 2 shots, 1 for 2 from 3 points. That's not there. They don't have it. We said this. They don't have a bench. And Tyrese Maxey's been clamped since game 1. Nick Nurse made adjustments. Doc Rivers did not. That's the difference.
If Embiid doesn't hit that shot in game 3, my goodness.
You're down 3-2.
Yep.
But I don't think it matters. You're not going to win tomorrow or Thursday night. Somehow, some way, the Sixers are favored. And the Sixers are still, for your betting folks out there, minus 800 to win the series. At this point, they're minus 800. which is like a minus 800 is like the Patriots with Tom Brady playing the winless Jets. They weren't even minus 800.
You have to think that what goes into that. It's never happened before.
Right. That's yeah.
You can't look at that. You got to look now. You have a series that's 3-2. You can't look at what's taking place. I mean, the series. If you want to really look at it, okay, the series is really just begun, and the Sixers have a 1-game advantage right now.
Right. And unless Embiid gets some kind of shot in his thumb that eliminates the pain, which I don't understand why he hasn't, or why he's not on heavy, some kind of heavy painkiller. What any insight on that? Why isn't being numbed?
Yeah, I don't know if that taking place would be more of a detriment to him handling the ball, or just the feel. I don't know if he's gotten used to it. Look, my thought was with this situation, you needed a team that could come out last night, end this thing, then sit back and see what happens in Miami, Atlanta. And even though Embiid's going to need surgery, time off would be important as well. Hopefully that would help, and he could just adjust to this more. And the team just they folded, and like I said, to me it's like we're looking at a team tonight. When you look across the street there at the Phillies, I mean, I just see they're up 7-0. But is that a team that's going to win a championship? Not what we've seen so far.
No.
So I hate seeing our teams do well, but it's like, well, for what? Because they really, if you go back to the NBA, you have Boston, you have Milwaukee, and Miami. Okay, I don't know the Butler situation, but Milwaukee and Boston look like they're on a collision course right now.
Oh yeah, they're gonna play. Butler's out tonight, and Lowry's out, of course, and they're gonna struggle. I mean, it's been an unpredictable NBA playoffs, which is probably setting up great if the Sixers were healthy, and they're another team that's just not healthy. And I don't know if James Harden is not healthy or if he got 10 years older overnight, but something's wrong with him. He's slow. He has no lift. He's either a three-pointer or a drive to the basket and gets blocked. What's wrong with the in-between? He was the master of the 10-foot lane floater. That's what he made a career on, and he just stopped taking that shot.
If CJ McCollum's on this team, the series is over.
Yeah.
Instead of James Harden. Yeah,
I want to clarify. Arthur says he thought he read it was between Jokic, Embiid, and the Greek Freak. It technically is, but all the writers let out who they voted for, so there was enough votes for Jokic. Shane, thanks for joining us. Taylor, thanks for joining us. Gina says Harden is the same old playoff Harden. Yeah, he is. Unfortunately it's true. He's not come up big in the playoffs, and that's another thing about the Sixers. They just don't have winners. They have, Danny Green's the only one on the team. The rest of them just have not won in their careers, and it's showing.
You can't count that victory that the coach had, because me or you could have won with that squad.
Yeah, anybody. They didn't even need a coach in Boston. Anybody.
Has he even been back to the finals? I don't think so.
No, because he was with the Clippers. They didn't go. And the Sixers.
Well, that situation out there, it was the worst kept secret, I think, in basketball. Kawhi said it's either me or him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that was a team that should have played for a championship or won a championship. The Clippers.
They were up 3-1.
Right. So wherever he goes, he doesn't have the killer instinct. He doesn't know what to tell a team and how to tell a team to put away a series. Because what happens is he gets ahead, the other team makes the adjustments like we're seeing in this series, and he has no readjustment. He can't counter the adjustment. And with all these coaches the Sixers have, they have a full football team of coaches behind them on the bench. You think somebody would have some clue on what to do.
Yeah, and it's not like we're sitting here saying, okay, another 4-bouncer beat them last night. No, they've been outplayed and outclassed in the last 2 games after going up 3-0. And
it's not just outplayed. You're looking at it looks like a layup line. Toronto's doing whatever they wanted to do. They were driving. Siakam would drive the lane, and he would either hit the cutter for the dunk or hit a guy for a wide open three. It's like there was 5 Sixers in that half of the court, but none of them were guarding anybody. And this is exactly what Durant said. After 3 passes, they become disinterested.
Yeah, and Toronto's been pushing the ball on offense to score and to get open shots, whether, like you're saying, the layup or those 3-point shots. And what they're doing with the Sixers is they're not letting Embiid these last 2 games beat them and saying to everybody else, let's see what you got. And by the time the Sixers are missing 3, 4, 5 shots, that's 3, 4, 5 possessions Toronto has, and that's 10 to 13 points. You're already behind.
Right. I think they led 2-0 last night, and that was it. They were down the whole game. The crowd tried to get behind them and make a run, and it just didn't happen. They could not get a stop when they needed it. It's just, it's coaching. I mean, how do you allow Pascal Siakam to bring the ball up? He's not a point guard. They made it too easy for him. He was struggling to dribble outside the 3-point line. There was a couple of times where it looked like he carried the ball, he dribbled it off the back of his leg. How do you not put pressure on the guy? Double him, make him pass it. They have no one that can handle a ball.
No, I agree. And the one thing that I guess for a while there, when you looked at the team that Mike Krzyzewski coached at Duke, he used to say, look, we're going to give you 40 minutes of hell. Well, the Sixers need to put 48 minutes of hell on Toronto, up there in Toronto, and see what happens. It's going to be pressure from the jump.
Yeah, exactly. They just didn't do it. I don't know if he feels like they're going to play 42 minutes to 45 minutes, and he doesn't want to tire them out, but Toronto's in the same boat. They're playing everybody 40 minutes. They don't have a deep bench either. Arthur says Harden is terrible. It's one thing to have offense, but the lack of defense, too, is rough, and it's 100% coaching, which we agree with. We don't like Doc Rivers one bit, and I hate calling him Doc. It's Glenn Rivers.
Yeah, because Philadelphia had Doc Holliday and Dr. J.
Well, that's why he's called Doc, because of the Doc. He was wearing a Dr. J T-shirt when he was discovered at a camp.
Yeah, that's how he got that. I don't know. I would have liked it. I know this can't happen. I mean, but when you have the writers and the journalists and stuff asking questions, I would have loved the question last night to go to Coach Rivers. You gonna blow a 3-0 lead, aren't you, Doc?
Yeah.
I would have loved to see the reaction, because what's he gonna say? Well, wouldn't you ask Popovich that question?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to.
All right. Miami is leading Atlanta 54-42 at the half, so the injuries there not affecting them much as they're holding Atlanta to basically what the Toronto was holding the Sixers to, 42 points. Sixers had 41 at the half. It was an embarrassing performance.
Yeah, I had something. I had 2 things that I wanted to bring up here quickly.
Yeah.
As Sixers fans, and all the years that we went through the process, wasn't the process designed because of what we've just seen the last few years, where they were a mediocre 1 to 2 round exit of the playoffs? The process has produced what the process was for.
Yeah, that's what they were. They were a 7 or 8 seed that would either get lucky and win a first round matchup or lose and not have enough to go anywhere. Yeah, you're right. That's why they broke it down. This is
one of the best teams that they kind of had there in that playoff run a number of years ago. They were an 8 seed. They beat Chicago, but that was only because of the injury to
Derrick Rose.
Yes, to Derrick Rose in Game 1, and they did push Boston to Game 7 as an 8 seed, which they ended up losing in Boston. But it was one of those things where it's like, my goodness, this team, first round exit, second round exit. I mean, we're not really getting anywhere, because when it comes time to getting the ping pong balls at the draft, we're just drafting guys who we're taking a shot on, and we're just treading our heels. Well, I don't remember the last time the Sixers were in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I do. 2001.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. All the way back then. And the other thing I put this out on social media today, the idea of what goes on in the NBA and the early process, if you even want to call it that, the San Antonio Spurs had a 1-year process because David Robinson was hurt.
Right.
They won maybe 10, 11 games. They got the first pick. They took Tim Duncan, and that team won 5 championships.
Right.
The Sixers went through years of the process, and Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, now James Harden, and we're sitting here like, there's no championships coming. But San Antonio was able to get that star, like, and Embiid, and put the proper players around them with the proper coach.
Right. The Sixers have not done any of that. And going forward, it makes me sick to think they would have to pay James Harden $260 million on an extension. That's not happening. You can't do it. I know it's up to him for next year. He has the option. But 1 year, I mean, if you have to take him for the 1 year, yeah, but you have to separate yourself. You can't have him for 5 years. Imagine what he's going to look like at 37.
Wow. He's not going to be a 37-year-old LeBron.
Oh, the beard will start to turn white. You might have Santa out there.
I mean, he's younger than Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Doesn't look it.
No, and yeah, when you look at that going forward, it would. A lot of people have talked about Bradley Beal coming to the Sixers, but they'd have to do a lot of retooling and getting rid of Tobias Harris and different things. And
before you go on, what do you think of when you think of Bradley Beal? What is he? What's the first word? I have a word for him.
Injured.
Loser.
Yeah.
He's never won anything. He would fit right in.
He's been injured as well.
Yeah,
They might as well get Russell Westbrook to bring him over.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
You need guys with pedigree, guys that have won. That's what the NBA used to do. Teams that were on the verge of winning used to bring in guys that have won championships. And I guess the way the NBA's been, that there really isn't that many guys in the league that have the Golden State Warriors have won a couple, and I mean, LeBron James just goes from team to team, so it's basically just him and a bunch of guys. There's really not a lot of stars that have won championships that are really available. If you think of it that way, there's not a lot of champions out there. I mean,
yeah, in today's NBA, the way it is, I look at it, and I know last year Milwaukee won it, and Milwaukee was a deep, complete team last year, but a team that's focused heavy on that dominant center. And even though I know Embiid can make shots and he can make threes and different things, but having that dominant center is not the NBA that we're looking at to where teams can win. I mean, if you look at the Denver Golden State series, is Jokic the difference in that series?
No, not at all.
No.
And if you ask Denver fans, their excuse is they have no support. There's no other players on the team.
Well, yeah, they don't have a top 75 of all time there. And I don't know if they have a match player like Tobias Harris as well. And we know what went into them having to sign Tobias Harris and give him that money.
Yeah, I mean, they had no choice. It was between him and Butler. Butler wasn't coming, so they were stuck.
Yeah, once they lost Butler that year, they couldn't also say, well, we lost Tobias as well. But here's the thing, though. Tobias has been with Coach Rivers before.
Yeah.
And
how'd that turn out? He's another guy that's really never won anything or been a contributor on a winning team. Spent a lot of years in Detroit and Orlando. They don't have that killer instinct, that dog mentality. And it's 8:24 on the East Coast here, and we're on IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is our 59th episode. We're going to be here till 9 o'clock, and we'll be followed tonight by the Neutral Zone with Adam Carney. We'll be talking NHL as the NHL gets ready to hit the playoffs. Two games or so left in the regular season for most teams, and teams are revving it up. Florida Panthers look like they're going to win the President's Trophy and have home ice advantage, but I don't know if that really matters in the NHL. I mean, you got some good teams in the Eastern Conference, so. It's, I look at like the Bruins have been playing good lately. The Rangers have a great goaltender. Florida, Tampa Bay, of course, the two-time champions, still have a lot of the same guys on their roster. So it's going to be exciting NHL playoffs, which will not be participated in by Philadelphia.
Yeah, the way it looks like that might be a theme with the Flyers for a couple years going forward. But our pick right from the jump, the Florida Panthers, looks pretty good right now. But usually those President's Trophy winners don't win the Stanley Cup.
No, they go out in the first round.
they go in the first round 4 straight.
I mean, yeah. And I look at Florida's schedule, and they end the season with 2 games in Canada, which I don't like because they're going to be in Canada, out of the country, and they have to travel back down to Florida and play it 2 days later in the first round of the playoffs. That's not right. I mean, there's like no advantage to being the best team. Really, you don't get any time off. They're playing Boston tonight. That's a good test for them. Actually, they're down 3-2 in the second, but Boston's been playing really good. So
Boston has been, and that's been a pick now of some people thinking they might come out. Boston might come out of the East. I don't know about out West. I don't know. Calgary's good. Colorado's good.
Minnesota. Watch out for Minnesota.
Yes. Not a team to be taken lightly. And like you said, I mean that team in Minnesota is a team that is defensive heavy, and they can put the puck in the net as well. I'm surprised that they haven't had a better record. But
they've won 50 games. They have 50 wins.
Yeah, true. I mean, when you look at like Calgary and Colorado, yeah, you're right. They've been an excellent team.
Speaking of Minnesota, Minnesota Timberwolves lead the Memphis Grizzlies in the second quarter in a series that has been a lot closer than people thought. It's 2-2.
Yeah, and a game where the Timberwolves pulled the Sixers too, where they blew a huge lead over 20 points.
They did it twice.
Was it twice?
No,
Okay.
they were up big. I don't know if it was 20, but it was like 18-20, and then they went up again by 18, and then they blew it twice.
Maybe they're the better team, and we just didn't realize it.
Well, they're a team that shoots a lot of 3-pointers. They play a quick pace. I mean, Memphis is not. Memphis is a defensive team that can score, but they're not great shooters. I mean, and you sat John Morant most of the second half, so it's hard just to jump back in and be at your top level right away. I mean,
yeah, like when you look at the Phoenix New Orleans series as well, with Devin Booker being out, I mean that just completely changes the series.
Sure.
And that's why I guess when we focus back on the Sixers, we know Embiid has the injury, but who knows what could happen to somebody in the next series, and all of a sudden you look up, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals, but you can't make the Eastern Conference Finals if you get beat in the first round.
Yeah, that'd be tough to do. The Phillies, you probably missed the beginning of the Phillies tonight. They scored their runs on a wild pitch early on in the second and third, and he threw a wild pitch. The catcher went to get it and just backhand shoveled it towards the plate, and another run came in, so they took a 3-0 lead early.
I mean, I'm actually now for everyone tuning in and who hears this, I'm still sitting in the car coming back from umpiring my game. Did Eflin look good?
He's pitching a shutout. You'll be embarrassed at this moment. In the I believe it was the second inning, he struck out. I think it was McMahon. And they stopped the game and asked for the ball, and he didn't know why they stopped it. It was his 500th career strikeout. Are you kidding me?
What?
Are you kidding me? We're celebrating a face, and so what? We're celebrating a 500th career strikeout. Come on.
How about you get the 50 wins first?
Yeah, right. What's next? The 550th strikeout?
Oh my goodness.
He was a little embarrassed. He didn't know why they were asking for the ball.
Oh, even Eflin didn't know.
Yeah, the ball boy came out and asked for it. So it wasn't like he wanted the ball, but I've never seen that before.
No, I haven't either. It just reminds me of last year where what was it Hector Neris got he took over the lead as Phillies relief
all time
strikeout.
Yeah.
And they made a big deal about that, but he ended up losing the game. A guy now who does have a loss this year for the Astros, but who has an ERA of around 1.4,
right?
Which he never had that in Philadelphia.
Right. We talked about that too. It could be just a result of the other relievers coming in after him and shutting it down and not giving up his inherited runners.
That's true. That's true.
So we don't, I want to look into that stat. How many inherited runners has he let score?
Yeah, and I was watching some other baseball, having the MLB extra innings, and the Phillies bullpen has not been bad this season. I know it's still early, but when I look at these other bullpens, and even though some guys get hit around and stuff, they got guys coming in throwing 98, 99, 100. I mean, on ESPN the other night, they were saying that Familia, he's always going to throw hard. And I'm like, he hits 95. That's not hard anymore.
Not. It used to be. He used to be a guy who could get it up there, but yeah, I don't get it. They don't have those 100-mile-an-hour arms. I mean,
so the one they do can't throw strikes.
Yeah, right.
And the other one who did do that is probably not going to pitch again in Philadelphia this year due to injury, Sam Conrad, and he probably won't be back with the Phillies.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, Gina says tonight we got to battle the Bay Giants A's. Every time I hear Giants A's, I think of the Earthquake series.
Where's the game?
I don't know. She's Giants versus A's. That would be Oakland. Let me see if I can get it real quick here. It's going to be at the Giants.
Okay, well then there'll be more than 1,400 fans.
Yeah, right. That's about what's at the Phillies game tonight. Playing in a stadium full of blue seats.
Yeah, I guess that's more weather related. A lot of walk-up tickets bought tonight due to the fact that it's a little bit cold and a little bit raining. And
you hear the age in my brain. I said Candlestick Park there for a second.
Yeah, right. Candlestick Park, yeah.
I used to love watching the Phillies play there as a kid when the 3:30 afternoon games, coming home from school, watching them play there against Mike Krukow and who else did they have on those teams back then? Will
Clark.
Will Clark, yeah. Jose Uribe.
That's where you get some of them games in the middle of August where it would be 40 degrees.
Yep. That's all you thought about was the windy cold.
In, out, sideways.
Yep. 1-0 final.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Cheyenne. She said, sorry I missed last week. What's up, Cash and Chris? Arthur says, incoming Trey Young quarter coming here in the third. We'll see.
Yeah, Atlanta's going to need it. I don't know what he's done so far tonight, but.
Well, they couldn't have done that much. They only have 42 points on the board. Miami, Boston. You might see games, in maybe the 80s if they play each other.
Yeah, what happened? I didn't really pay much attention last night. What happened in the Jazz game when they were down there in Dallas? They had what, 70 points or something?
77 points, and what did I think I told you or I tweeted it first. Right before the series started, the Jazz stink. They don't have anybody. They have no scoring on their roster.
Like, how's that a playoff team? That's a playoff team every year.
All you have to do is guard Donovan Mitchell, because during the regular season they don't. That's why. But once the playoffs come, you just shut down Donovan Mitchell. They can't play Jordan Clarkson because he plays no defense. That team has no shot. Rudy Gobert might score you 10 to 15. They're limited. They're what they can do. You should. Gina says you should post a picture of her wearing a Battle of the Bay hoodie from '89. You should do that. That'll be a fitting picture for tonight's game. And it's Dollar Dog Night tonight at the Citizens Bank Park.
Wow.
Yeah, what people don't realize, people I'm sure do realize that they give you those smaller hot dogs for the $1. You don't get the full $5 hot dog.
Bobby, let me ask you a food question, because this came up on about the 15 minutes I caught of talk radio today. Okay, you're having a hot dog. What's on it?
Well, I haven't had a hot dog in a long time. Okay. It's one of those. I don't want to get too who cares? It's one of those things you vomit as a kid and you never go back to it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I have a list of those.
Yeah, good. So my answer, knowing myself now, would either be obviously mustard, never ketchup, And
That's all I need to hear you say.
but wait, here's another thing I think would probably taste good on a hot dog now is chili.
Oh, absolutely. Chili, onions, and mustard.
Oh yeah, the onions.
Yeah, I fall on the side of never put ketchup on a hot dog. Now, my wife, when she has a hot dog, there's more ketchup there than dog.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just I'm thinking like when you go to the ballpark, the vendors that go around, do they even have ketchup?
I don't know. I don't buy them, so I don't know. I mean, they probably have mustard packs. I don't know about ketchup packs.
Yeah, no, they have packs. I remember the old days going there, and they had the big thing of mustard and the knife in it. And then you want mustard on that? They just slap.
Yeah. Nowadays, if be non-sanitary, they wouldn't go for it. So last night we're at the game and we got the cheese fries and my daughter got the chicken fingers with her fries and the chicky and Pete's, the crab fries. So I said where's the honey mustard? And I couldn't find it. We get back out into the concourse, all the honey mustard you want in the little round circular thing. Gina says she prefers mustard only or everything on it, and Arthur says mustard is gross. See, it's about probably 60-40 for the mustard.
Yeah, now I've been known occasionally if I had if I made a hot dog and did not put it on a hot dog bun, but had more or less a steak roll and used it, and I would have two hot dogs there. I at times have used pickle with mayonnaise as well, with a little bit of onion and mustard. Now that I think has been pretty good, but if I'm picking one thing, it's going to be the mustard.
Well, this sounds more like a burger to me. I mean, a burger, I'll have both. I'll have ketchup and mustard on a burger, along with the onions.
I agree with you. I only put ketchup on two things: a hamburger and French fries.
Yeah. What about a cheesesteak?
Oh, ketchup?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, not for me.
Oh,
I'll take the peppers. I'll take the tomato sauce. I'll take the onions. But I'll put pickle on it. But I've never. Like I said, there's two things I put ketchup on, and I live with people who smother their eggs in ketchup, and I just.
Okay. There's Tara. I didn't know Tara was here still. He said I don't hate mustard, but it gives me heartburn. I had crab fries last night, Tara, and when I ordered the crab fries, I thought of you. Early in one of our episodes, you asked me what crab fries were. I thought of that last night at the Wells Fargo Center.
Was you in the lottery or something? You got to buy food? My goodness.
Who, me? No, well, it was the only game I went to this year, so.
I know. I just hear that the prices keep going up.
Hey, I got the tickets for $60. I was happy. It wasn't bad for a playoff game.
I don't know where I saw that one picture on social media. I think it was at a hockey game. There was a guy there in the front row, and he had a sign up against the glass that said, "Why is beer $14?"
I heard a guy say that. Behind me. He said the beer was more than the food.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I got a lot of comments here. Every time we talk about food, our comment board lights up here.
Right.
Shane says he agrees with Cash. I don't know what part he agrees with. Arthur says burger with mayo, dog with ketchup this is the way. Yeah, mayo's not bad. It's true. Mayo and ketchup is Thousand Island dressing. So Gina says that. Thousand Island, what's that? Well, you're eating Big Macs over there.
Thousand Island dressing is the king of dressings. Everything else isn't even the cleanest of
I'm coming back from heading back to work the other day, and I'm starving, so I stopped by McDonald's. I grabbed a double cheeseburgers. They give me 2 Big Mac patties on the double cheeseburger. I said, "Come on, guys." It was not good at all. They're much better on the Big Mac.
Yeah, that there with the special sauce. Yeah, you might as well just call it Thousand Island dressing. You're right.
Is this Philly sports talk or Philly food talk?
Well, we'd love to be talking and breaking down the next series for the Sixers. But we do have the draft coming up.
Yeah, which is ruined by the Sixers because they're going to be playing Thursday night. So it's 8:40. We're way past our time here.
Yeah, Bobby, can you do the reads?
I
I'll
can.
turn the car
Yeah.
and walk in. And
I'm just gonna let everybody know we're backwards tonight. I'm running the show from my house, so let's see if I can find these reads. Here we go. I have the NFL draft read here. The 2022 NFL draft is right around the corner, and of course it is this Thursday night. IE Sports Radio is excited to announce its third annual mock draft challenge. Rules are simple. Predict all 32 first-round picks. No trades, no modifications, no tricks. The participant who has the best mock draft will receive a shout-out on all of our shows and their choice of an IE Sports Radio hat or shirt. For more information, or to submit your mock, please reach out to Mike Patt, P-A-T-T, at Let's Wine, L-E-T-S-W-I-N-E, at I-E-S-R, IE Sports Radio. Good luck, everybody, on that. And don't forget to get it in so you have a chance to win a shirt or a hat from IE Sports Radio. They're good-looking hats and shirts. They're black with the white writing. I have the hoodie, and I enjoy it. For the last 7.5 years, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all the major sports cities around the country. All the while, we've continued to be by the fans for the fans, and with your help, we are ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers, first one starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment of our flagship show, The Defining Moment with Larry B. Thank you all so much for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And our last sponsor is the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or to just stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The Southern Cal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. So whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance. If you love your sport, you may get your second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find the Southern Cal Warriors on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, on Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, or on Facebook at Southern California Warriors. We will be right back. We'll do our Flyers Minute, little NASCAR, and we'll talk movies, and so much more on the second half of Philly Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Everybody, this is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big, nasty hits, if you like slap chop straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show. On IE Sports Radio, this is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
We're coming back, folks. Final 12 minutes of our show here. Tuesday night, Philly Sports Talk, Cash and Chris. We'll head right to it. For the final time this NHL season, your Flyers Minute. Boo! Chris, take it away.
Well, it looks like the thing, I guess, that's going to go forward now with the Flyers is trying to go through a rebuild. They were on a pattern there of making the playoffs, missing the playoffs, missing, and now they're on a streak here of a couple seasons where they haven't made the playoffs. It just doesn't look good for them going forward. I think they got to start from top down, and not just players, but everything else. They got to rebuild and put a new coat of paint, so to speak, on this team, and we'll see what they can do. I have no faith that it'll be anything positive, though.
Folks, that's it. The final Flyers Minute. Boo! Yeah, I mean, it used to be, back in our days growing up, you couldn't miss the playoffs. There was like 23 teams in the league. You pretty much you showed up and you made the playoffs. Now there's all these new teams. I mean, it's a little tougher to make it, especially with this new format too. But yeah, it's inexcusable. They're a team that actually tries to win every year and spends money to try to win, and they still can't get it done.
No, because they haven't changed their philosophy on how to play hockey.
Right. Embarrassing.
Yep.
So we're NASCAR. We had Talladega, which I kind of don't like Talladega and Daytona. They're basically just driving around for 200 laps, waiting to crash at the end. I mean, it doesn't really. It's the first 190 laps mean pretty much nothing. It happened again this week. The final lap that Larson made the move. Eric Jones went to block him. He wasn't there because Larson went right into the wall, and Ross Chastain just drove straight ahead and got the win. I mean, he really probably didn't deserve the win, but he got the win.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, I mean, this week we come to Dover, which I've been to Dover a few times. I like going to races there. It's more of a racetrack. But with these new cars, it's NASCAR's become unpredictable. I mean, there's probably 10 or 12 guys a week now that can win a race. I guess that's what they like. They want more guys with a chance to win.
Yeah, this feels like a Kyle Larson victory this week.
It does. But I feel the same way because I used to always think of Jimmy Johnson as the winner at Dover. And I think it's a Cole Larson win. Arthur says Talladega was my least favorite race of the year, and I agree.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in Dover. I hope I can get some time Sunday to watch that race. I enjoy the track, the Monster Mile. Tough track. Nice track. I mean, they used to have the seats all the way around. No longer. The seats are only about they're down the where the finish line is, that stretch, and they curve probably 2 or 3 sections over. But they used to surround the whole track. They used to sell out too.
Oh yeah. Dover was a very popular race spot.
Yeah. That's back in the Dale Earnhardt days when people had to go see it. And there's really not a guy nowadays that's a must-see driver. It's a shame. There's no superstar right now. Kyle.
Back when I was a Bobby Labonte fan.
Yeah, the green Interstate Batteries car.
Him and Terry Labonte and the '88 car by
Dale Jarrett. Yep.
Hey, before I forget, do you think if the Eagles don't make a move to trade up, now my second part of my question is, who do you think they'd be trading up to get? You're sitting there at 15. Malik Willis is on the board. Are they taking him?
Yeah, they would. I don't think he's going to be there though.
I don't either.
Yeah, I listened to Larry and Mike do their mock draft the other night, and I wanted why am I drawing it? Jameson Williams from Alabama for the Eagles at their first pick, and then I liked that George Karlaftis, who Larry agreed with me, from Purdue, the defensive end, with their second pick. So
he's been getting talked about a lot more here as you're getting closer and closer to the draft. So if the Eagles could get him with their second pick, they'd be stupid not to take him.
Yeah.
So in other words, he'll be a Cowboy.
Well, the other thing that scares me is that Karlaftis has been he's one of those combine wonders who reminds me of who? Mike Mamola. Yeah.
Well, don't be too down on Mamola. He did get a sack in that one game.
And he was close to getting a sack in a lot of games.
He was always the guy that John Madden would point out, and and Mamola with the hand on the quarterback, but just couldn't.
Almost got the sack. He leads the league in almost.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Thursday in Philadelphia sports. I mean, we'll have the Phillies finishing up the series with the Rockies, the draft, and yeah.
I mean,
Sixers.
I have zero expectations that the Sixers win this game. It's a loss in my mind. The loss.
I don't see them with a chance of winning the series unless somehow you get a game like 42 points out of Embiid, and
it's not happening. Embiid couldn't score 40 points if he was on the court by himself. He's a baby. I mean, I can't believe that he can't play through this and just tough it out. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, I guess you give him some credit for playing through it. I guess.
He has to. If he doesn't play through it, he'd be bashed. Especially when you're in a city where you had Allen Iverson. That's another thing. Last night, I thought the Sixers would have Allen Iverson ring the bell, get the crowd into it. You get there, and it's no disrespect to Jordan Burroughs, but I think 80% of the crowd looked around and said, "Who?"
Well, 80% of the crowd was Googling who it is.
Yeah. Everybody in my section was like, "Who?" I knew who he was from the Olympics, of course, but nobody knows who Jordan Burroughs is. You couldn't get a bigger guy than that. Come on.
Well, if they get to a Game 7, my suggestion is Jay Wright rings the bell.
Hey, he threw out the first pitch for the Phillies. So.
Yes, he did. I suggest he rings the bell and sits behind Coach Rivers, and
you hook up a microphone, AirPod in his ear.
Yeah, maybe.
Go to the zone.
Yeah, or tell him to stop hanging around the 3-point line, or
Right. What's the point of hanging on the 3-point line when you know you're not going to shoot it and you can't shoot it?
You're right.
That's-
Or tell Harden when instead of driving in looking for the foul, pull up and hit that medium range jump shot.
Yep. This is the kind of game where Bryce Harper gets his stats, though, isn't it? We say this all the time. He just hit the double. He'll probably get a home run in the 8th inning.
What's JT doing?
He has a couple hits. He struck out last at bat, but he has a couple of hits.
Yeah, like, we were talking about during our short break there. The Phillies will be once again this week on Sunday Night Baseball. They're playing the Mets. I mean, they could maybe drop 2 in a row on Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, that was a tough one the other night, though.
That umpire was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. Angel Hernandez.
Baseball has just baseball is my favorite sport. And if it wasn't for baseball, Bobby and I probably wouldn't be together here doing the show.
No, we wouldn't be talking to you right now.
And it's just changed so much. When you have bases loaded, no outs, I don't care who's up. In a game like that one, I'm trying. Not bases. I don't know if it was base loaded. It was first and second. I'm trying to bunt the runner over, and I know he thought maybe Camargo could hit the ball to the proper side and move the runners, and he ended up striking out.
Yeah, you don't need to hit the ball to the proper side if you bunt.
No, and some of these games that I've watched, I've seen games where they've gone into extra innings, and I'm trying to remember the one I was watching the other night. It was the Mets game, and it went into extra innings. The Mets and the Diamondbacks, and the Mets got a run in the 10th. Their ghost runner on second, or whatever you want to call it, scored.
Mm-hmm.
And when Arizona came off the bat, they weren't trying to bunt the guy over to play for a tie, and they ended up losing.
Different world, different league. I thought they weren't going to have it, and then they decided to have these runners. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was more Players Association wanting that so that you wouldn't wear down the pitchers going into long extra inning games. But
it's 8:57 already. Our hour goes by so fast. I mean,
it does.
We could talk all night. We always, our last couple minutes, we talk about what we've watched on TV. I watched the Lakers winning time. It's fascinating, and it's becoming more fascinating because of Jerry West and how he's being portrayed as a curmudgeon and a miserable guy, and he's basically wants to take the show to court, saying it's not true. So that should be interesting.
That was what I've taken from it. I mean, I've seen it for not as much as you, but just reading some of the stuff. I mean, that was the one thing he was like, "What? That's not me." And when you were watching that, you're like, "Wait, that guy was awful to be around."
Yep. Never happy. He won a championship and he wasn't happy. I also watched a movie called The Terrifier. Very interesting. It's basically like a Michael Myers type movie, and he's Art the Clown. It actually happens on Halloween night, which is not original, but still it kept my attention. Interesting movie.
Is that on Netflix?
It was on Tubi, the free movie app that comes with the cable.
Yep.
Anything from you?
The only thing I watched was a movie called that I would mention here is a movie called The Night House.
Okay.
Woman, husband has committed suicide, and she is in their kind of house cabin near the woods, and starts hearing voices that are very familiar, and that's about all I'll give into it.
Another happy movie from Chris Amos. I watched Aftermath last week.
You watched that one?
Talking about depression. Jeez.
But Schwarzenegger was good in that.
Yeah, he was. He was good. I mean, because he played a believable character. He did. I'll give him that.
Bobby, before we close, the one thing you mentioned that when you talked there about Jerry West, I want someone in Philadelphia who would win and be unhappy.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have.
It would be. It's like, yeah, we won, but we could have won better.
Exactly. So, Taryn, Arthur, Gina, Shane, Taylor, anybody else? Cheyenne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay tuned for the Neutral Zone. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, we'll talk to you too on the Elon Musk owned Twitter.
That's right. Good night, everybody.